gosh.
So with Wellbeing Simplified, we have 3 steps. We call them our 3 signature R's. And the first one is release. The second one is rejuvenate. And the third one is reinvent. And within each of those steps, there's 2 really concrete action items that you do that can make profound differences in a single day and have cumulative effects. We believe that within 21 days of doing these 3 steps that you really will see a whole person renovation. So today we get to delve into our first R, which is release. And under release, we have Tracy and I take a tag team approach. Tracy does the more physical aspect of this whole person renovation. I take the emotional and mental and more spiritual aspect of this makeover, if you will.
I like that.
And so within release, Tracy's going to talk about hydration. You know, and it's a very simple step that can affect profound changes in our mind and our body. And the next segment, we'll come back and talk about the second piece of release, and that is breath work. But without further ado, I want to hear all about water.
Right. It's well, you know, it only covers what 2/3. What is it? 2/3 of the earth, and it's
2/3 of our bodies.
Of our bodies, yeah. So that's a major deal.
Well, and nothing lives without it. Like nothing can grow or live without.
Very true.
It.
Spot
Right?
on.
Yeah.
So Dr. Tracy, we underestimate the importance of water consumption. Of course, your water is beautifully displayed right on the. I have vodka here. Just for the rest of you. Well,
Pass it over.
folks. I'm just kidding. Is that my camera? I'm just kidding. Okay.
That's why we
So
hang with you, Ross.
yes. So tell us, what are some of the different aspects, the different elements that we should be thinking about as it pertains to hydration and the importance of it?
Okay. Well, first of all, as Alexa said, hydration and water is important for life on this planet. It's in our bodies. It's so important. It's important for brain function. It's important for the lubrication of our joints. And to me, most importantly, it's important for bringing nutrients into the cells and releasing toxins out of the cells. If we don't have enough water, we're going to stagnate. All those toxins are going to stay in our cells. And you know what happens when you've got a buildup of toxicity? You can become very ill. So I'm going to talk about it from that perspective and talk a little bit about the importance of hydration, what it does, and what the symptoms. I want to start out with the symptoms of dehydration, because a lot of us don't realize.
Right.
That's true.
You know, especially with what you do, with so much exercise, and you're out there in the heat with people. A lot of times people don't get those clues that they were dehydrated.
So what's your
because
body?
when you sweat like a lot, that's like just the confirmation that you need to intake just that much more water when you're out working out, whether it's walking, jogging,
Absolutely.
running, even just the basic gardening, even with stuff like that, you definitely need to stay hydrated.
Yeah, you do, and I think a lot of people don't realize even without sweating, you're losing a lot of water, because as you breathe in, your body, your lungs have to moisten the air to breathe it out. So you're losing a lot of water just from the breathing
Never
process.
thought about that.
Yeah.
That's why we see it when it's like cold outside,
Yes,
right? That's when
yes.
we see that. I used to love that as a kid, you know.
still
I'm
do.
blowing
You make the
smoke.
bubbles, yeah.
Now people tell me I'm blowing smoke, but it means something completely different. What the heck? All right. So then what are the signs of dehydration? I mean, what is that?
So the interesting thing is, and the frustrating thing is, the thirst mechanism does not turn on in our bodies until we're 2 to 3% dehydrated.
Wow.
But the bad stuff starts happening at about 1% dehydration. So we always have to be proactive about it. So I'll talk a little bit about some of the studies, and actually, Heather, you can chime in here on the first one I'll talk about. And this one was done at the Tower of London, and some professors took students to the Tower of London and had them exercise. Well, first of all, they had them do some cognitive exercises, problem solving, timing of different problem solving skills. Then they had them exercise for about an hour without hydrating, and then they had them do the exercises again. And guess what happened? They couldn't. Yeah, their
Energy,
ability went way down. And it has to do with frontal lobe activity decreases greatly. They actually did MRIs too. frontal lobe activity decreased greatly, and you can talk about the executive functioning and how that can affect us in our daily lives.
Right, so your frontal lobe is really what differentiates us as human beings from animals, and it's the last part of our brain to form, and it truly is right here behind our forehead, and it really doesn't stop forming until age of 24, which is why you can't really rent a car on your own until you're 24 years old, because we're all walking around stupid.
I just thought it was because these young kids are irresponsible. Let me not talk to my kids like
Really, there is a physiological reason.
Wow, interesting.
But continuing on with that, the idea, the frontal lobe is our decision-making mechanism. It's our executive functions. It's our problem-solving. It's that quick thinking piece that keeps us cognitively sharp when we're doing a research study and taking a test.
Right.
So that was impaired. You know, that piece of our brain is impaired when we're 1% dehydrated and we don't even know it.
And
we
another,
don't feel thirsty.
Yeah. And
Now, is it true that the brain is, I think I read 90% water?
Yep,
The brain is 90% water. That's unbelievable.
Well, and when you become dehydrated, one of the symptoms is a headache.
Yeah.
Because the water shrinks in the brain and it causes a headache. So before you go and pop that Advil or Aleve or whatever, drink a large glass of cold water and wait 20 minutes. You'll be shocked at how many headaches just disappear.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So there's another symptom. Grouchiness.
Well, in that case, the whole world's dehydrated. My goodness.
Yeah, everyone on the road is dehydrated. Besides us. Another one is, exactly. Another one is craving sugar, believe it or not.
Yeah,
So,
I can see that.
as you dehydrate, your body...
Corey's like raising her hand to all of these. She's not even on the mic yet. She's like, guilty. Wow, okay. So that's interesting. So craving sugar is another...
Well, I think the body gets confused. This is just my theory on it. I think the body gets confused and thinks, my blood sugar's gone down because I don't have enough water, and they assume that it's a blood sugar issue, which there probably is some kind of tie there. You're feeling sluggish. Give me some sugar. So what happens is people eat the sugar, and they may have a little high, and then a dip again, and then they eat sugar again, and they're not realizing that they really just need some water.
Just to add to that, really quick, and that's just even with my my health clients who say that, when you have cravings, they're real. The cravings aren't there, like living healthy lifestyle. They always say that if you're craving sugar, that's not good. No, your body's telling you something. Your body is saying that something's wrong. You got to figure out what it is, and it could be hydration.
Right, and it doesn't mean that
it doesn't mean that
it's
you're,
sugar that you need.
Yeah, our body speaks to us in
exactly.
messages, and I think that's a really beautiful and gentle way to put it.
Yeah,
with your health
they're real.
clients. Yeah, they're real. Just listen to them.
But when we think about this consumption of sugar in particular, it happens with soft drinks.
Oh, yes.
And isn't it so, Dr. Tracy, that the soft drinks have a tendency to dehydrate us even more?
They do. So you've got the combination of the caffeine and the sugar. And both of those are stimulants and can dehydrate us even more. And so you're just caught in this cycle. And incidentally, Harvard did a study not too long ago and found that half of all American kids are dehydrated chronically.
Wow.
And 1/4 of American kids don't have any water in a day.
Oh my gosh.
1/4. They may be having
crazy.
sodas,
So
but they're having dehydrating drinks. So think of that, what that's doing in their body, their ability to think and focus, and also their physical activity. So a 2% drop in hydration levels translates into a 10% decrease in athletic performance.
Wow.
So
we've got the brain function, and then you mentioned also this idea of releasing toxins.
Yes,
right?
so filtration. It's one of our first go-tos for filtration, to opening up our body to well-being. So this idea of these 3 R's, they're purposeful. We can't regenerate, we can't reinvent our own well-being until we release what does not serve us any longer.
Yes. Yes.
And so one of the ways that we release these toxins, because we can't rebuild until we get the yucky stuff out, is through hydration. Like she said, the cells, the brain of the cells is actually the wall of the cells. And if those are dehydrated, it's like pouring water on on a house plant that you haven't watered in a long time. What happens to the water?
it just goes.
It runs off
Yeah.
instead of going in. And so if our cells are chronically dehydrated, that water is not even getting into
that
through the cell
membrane
wall.
is not permeable.
So we can't
like it
release those
should.
toxins.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's some interesting stats here, actually, speaking about the toxic buildup. And I'm not saying this to cause fear, but to help people realize the importance of hydrating properly. But studies have shown that chronic dehydration translates to an up to, now there's a big range here, but an up to 79% increase in risk of breast cancer. And that's
79%.
Yes.
especially true
You got to
with
be kidding me.
postmenopausal women.
Wow.
And I don't know. I think it's because all the excess toxins, and you're not cycling, and you're not getting rid of those hormones that can be detrimental. So hydrate. Every person should hydrate, but postmenopausally, as we get older, our thirst mechanism gets less and less strong. That trigger, so we have to be proactive. We have to carry, and Heather's going to give some great tips at the end, but we have to be very proactive about hydrating. And the same risk of cancer, increase in cancer is colon cancer. I believe it's 45% increase, and urinary tract cancer up to a 51% increase.
Right.
Yeah,
Not
think
right.
about it.
Gosh.
You're not flushing those toxins out. You're not filtering.
Oh.
So if we don't hydrate, it doesn't matter how much nutrition we get into our bodies, it's not going into those cells.
Yeah.
And the toxins are just going to build up.
Wow. Wow. That's everything we
Drink
wanted to
water.
know about water, but was afraid to ask. My goodness. That is amazing. So cancer, folks, listeners, cancer can be somewhat averted just by staying hydrated.
That's right.
79%, that's huge odds.
Yeah.
Folks, you are listening to Wellbeing Simplified here on the Natural Nation Network. We have Tracy and Heather that are in studio with us, and we are talking about the first R, release. We're going to be back to continue this conversation with the fabulous duo in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back momentarily. And we are back in studio live with Wellbeing Simplified. And so far, we've gotten some amazing examples of how simple steps in consuming more water can literally save our lives. Wow.
And-
It certainly helps our thinking, but save our lives. That's huge. So Doc Tracy here, you mentioned this consumption of water, and we've heard all kinds of sort of suggestions about how much water we should drink. Some people say it's 5 8-ounce glasses. Or what's the actual? How should we think about water consumption?
Well, everyone is individual, as we talk about a lot. But a good rule of thumb for most people is half of your body weight in ounces of water a day. So if you weigh 150 pounds, 75 ounces would be a good goal. That said, if you're exercising and sweating, you need, for every 30 minutes of exercise, one more 8-ounce glass at least, unless you're doing a marathon or something, you need a lot more than that. If you're traveling, you need more because you get dehydrated on the plane. Just think about things like that might dehydrate. If you're having a lot of coffee, drink more water to offset the dehydration of the coffee. But one caveat is, more is not always better with water. You can really offset your electrolytes if you drink way too much water. And there have been cases where people have, in fact, on a radio station, I don't know if you remember this a few years ago, they were doing a competition. And it was whoever could drink the most water in a certain period of time. And a poor guy, he messed up his electrolytes so much he drank like 3 gallons in an hour or something crazy.
Wow.
But he ended up,
Yeah.
it was really, really
Was
bad.
it a happy ending?
It was not a happy ending. So don't go out and drink 2 gallons of water. But that's a good rule of thumb. And also look at things like how many times you're having to go to the bathroom in a day. An average healthy hydrated person is going 7 to 8 times a day.
Wow.
And the urine should be light yellow unless you're taking B vitamins, and we all have done that, and it's bright yellow, but generally speaking, light yellow, and have very little odor. So if it's other than that, you could be either 1, detoxifying, or 2, dehydrated. So, but Heather's got some really good tips too.
Yeah, so we, again, with Wellbeing Simplified, and I would be remiss if I didn't say, please come visit us on our website. We're www.wellbeingsimplified.com. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on Facebook. We're always posting tips, and we've got big workshop coming up in February. We're kind of earmarking the middle of February, where we're going to do a 2-day workshop where we'll go delve in deeper to the 3 R's.
Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait for that.
Absolutely,
Yeah, it'll be fun. Lots of fun.
Look on our website
there.
for information on that. Okay, so how, if we're really talking about making these 3 R's simple, and we really believe in the power of, first we need to release what does not serve us. You know, and we're talking about that filtration system of getting the toxins out of the cells, using this natural, wonderful thirst mechanism and hydration process. How do I take, I'm a mom, and I am a brainwasher of, you know, good health with my children, you know, much to their chagrin. And at the same time, you know, I still struggle with getting my kids to hydrate enough, you know.
You're not by yourself.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right. I've honed the
challenge.
habit, but for my kids, it's not quite there. So talking just as an adult, my tip is find a receptacle. Find something that is a bottle that you love. I know that sounds silly, but
no, it's
find
true.
one that makes you happy.
It makes you happy. When you look at it, you smile, you want to grab it, you want what's inside of it. So appealing, that's it. That's key.
Yes. So, you know, for my daughter, you know, I went and bought her a Swell bottle, and it had all the pretty decorations on it, let her pick it, that kind of thing. Use it daily. Please wash it in between. And please make sure that it is either glass or stainless steel.
Yes.
You know, even if it's a plastic that says non-BPA, plastic has a myriad of toxins beyond just BPA that's been kind of publicized. So glass, of course, is your cleanest. And so, but it also can break. You know, I'm not going to give this to my 8-year-old to take to school. And so,
But you
know,
can also
you can
get
go, right?
one that's coated in rubber.
The bib.
Is that what it is?
So the first tip is, you know, find a receptacle that you love, or find a few of them that you love, and then measure how many of these, if I'm to drink half my body weight in ounces, how many of these puppies do I need to consume in a day? And keep track. And there's water apps out there. I know, Tracy, you have some favorites.
Yes,
Water apps.
well, actually,
waterlog.com.
yeah,
Or what did you-
waterlog.com,
tell
and
me what you
Alexis
do,
had a
Alexis.
great
No,
suggestion.
just to my health clients, just to have the constant reminder to drink the water. So one key thing to do is to make your screensaver either a water bottle, waterfall, you know, the ocean, something that when you look at your screensaver, it's the connection to seeing it, the reminder to drink water. And you have to find those little things, especially if you have the hard time drinking water. And then I say my rule of thumb is 2-2-2. 2 in the morning, 2 at lunch, 2 at dinner. At least you know you're getting in those water throughout the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
And if you
track
could
'em.
do the math and actually figure out, you know, how many of these or whatever you
Right,
could,
how
you
many?
could build your own formula.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And that way I know, hey, have I done my 2, or hey, have I done my 3?
Right.
I mean, you could even just set your iPhone, you know, with a timer or a reminder. All right, so we choose our receptacle, and you might notice I have some funny words on mine.
Yeah.
You figure out, you do your math, your little math formula that Tracy gave us, what's half my body weight in ounces, and how many of these do I need to drink. It will take you less than 21 days to hone that habit if you just start doing it. And you will see differences in your fatigue level, in your skin.
Your skin, yeah.
You know, I know we can't see ourselves, but just know it's happening inside there as well.
Right.
You know, the second thing that I like to say is words carry vibrations, and we're going to talk about this in another segment way down
Love
the
it.
line.
I'm excited already.
But you know, we won't go into it.
I'm also excited.
You know,
Yeah,
you
I
know
love
language. So we're going to talk about that in another segment. But I write on my bottles. Sometimes I don't want to be, my kids would kill me, if I sent them to school with, I am happy, I hydrate,
I make straight A's. No.
I make straight A's. My mommy loves me. I already embarrassed them enough. So I wrote on this one, this is mine, and I'm beyond the embarrassed ages, but I says, I'm hydrated, I am healthy, I am happy.
Beautiful.
And we'll go into this in another segment, but words carry a vibration physically that can affect your health. And so there's actually some studies by a Japanese scientist, Dr. Emoto, that looked at the power of words imprinted on water and how that can change the cellular structure of the water. So do you want to drink happy water cellularly? When they froze this water and they looked at the crystalline structures under a microscope, they were beautiful crystals.
Beautiful, yeah.
Versus when they exposed water to ugly words, imagine what those frozen water molecules look like. They were actually physically ugly molecules. So you really can affect things like, and if most of our body is water, we have a chance to change vibrationally our system by just simply exposing the water we drink to happy words.
Yes.
It's scientifically proven, as simple as it seems. For my kids, this is something you can get at Whole Foods. I'm not selling it. This is just something that's a great alternative to Gatorade. Gatorade is full of high fructose corn syrup. Some of them even have dyes in them. Those are neurotoxins.
Yes.
I know.
Yes. All of those energy sports drinks, they're all in that same category. Not necessarily good for you.
No, not good for you.
No.
But this particular one you can get at Whole Foods or probably any other Amazon. Has the same.
What's the name of that? I'm sorry.
Electrolyte. This one's called Ultima.
Okay.
Ultima.
And there are other ones out there, but this one is just one that
Just check the
our kids like the
ingredients.
flavor. It tastes
Right.
like Kool-Aid, believe it or not.
That we grew up drinking.
Yeah. Well, what I
Okay.
remember Kool-Aid to taste like. It's been a long time.
It's not that way anymore. Wow.
I definitely, when I work out, I will definitely drink some Ultima versus just water, just to get the added electrolytes.
Wow.
You can also
And no
pre-feed-
sugar. It's all sweetened
all-
with stevia.
Yep, no food dyes, none of that. It's very, very natural. You can also do, I forgot, my lime is here somewhere, but you can also just add a little lime to your water, a lemon to your water.
Yeah.
And if you want to make it more fun, a few drops of organic stevia to your lime or lemon water, and there you got some healthy lemonade, some ice cubes.
Yeah, it's
Right.
great for kids.
And you have some more ideas?
No. I just see you have the liquid form. Is that better to get in the system than the sugar form? Or
the powdered?
the powdered form? Because I know people
don't
have
know.
that. Yeah.
Oh, to me, it's just laziness because it just dissolves.
That's a good excuse. No, look, I'm good with that.
Right?
3 cheers for laziness.
I saved 3 seconds. I'm stirring.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good one.
So I just love this idea as we're kind of moving this segment to a close of not only hydrating but making your water more approachable, more delectable, more vibrationally compatible. Now, is all water created equal? Because we have alkaline water, we have acidic water.
You
Can
just
you all?
opened Pandora's box.
Oh gosh! Damn that Pandora!
It really is a scale. So if I had my druthers, we'd all be drinking glacial melt water,
Right.
You can't get that really in
Sounds good.
Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're
So-
Inuit, you're up there somewhere.
Right. So that's off the table for most of us. Deep eddy spring water is probably second. So what we want to look for with water is one, that isn't toxic. It doesn't have chemicals in it. Two, that it is living. Water should be flowing. That's how it is naturally in the earth. It should be flowing. And when it flows over those rocks and down those streams and underground, it picks up all kinds of minerals, and our body needs minerals. So the opposite of the spectrum would be like distilled water, which is dead water. There are no minerals left in it. There's no place on earth except maybe like inside a volcano that you would find distilled water, and nobody's going to go looking for water inside of a volcano.
Right.
So stay away from the dead water, which is distilled water, but also tap water. And tap water has a lot of toxins. Sorry, City of Houston, but it does.
Especially in Houston.
It's not only the chlorine and the disinfectants like chlorine and the chloramine and the sodium fluoride, but it's also all of the other things they're finding in water now, like arsenic and lead, as we well know,
Antibiotics.
and antibiotics, all these medications. are coming up in the water supply, and they don't have the ability to filter that out. And 40% of, pretty much, studies have shown that 40% of all bottled water is just tap water. So unless you know it's a good bottled water in a glass bottle, I would, that would be a resort that I would take towards the end. Yes. Of course, you don't want to get dehydrated. I'm not telling people not to drink water, and I'm not saying if you don't have anything, just don't even drink tap water. Absolutely. But if you have the option, you want a healthier water. You want a spring water. And if you don't have access to spring water in a glass container, get a really good water purifier that takes out the bad stuff and leaves in the good stuff, the minerals.
Wow. Good stuff. Yes.
I know it can be complicated.
Does the pH level, the alkaline level matter? Because that's the thing now too.
I know,
drink alkaline water,
Yeah.
drink pH,
It
oxygen,
is.
water.
There's a lot of controversy around it, and people tend to, from what I've understood, the most recent studies, if the pH is towards the center, our bodies can absorb it better, or even a little bit alkaline, but not super alkaline. It's not good for you, and acidic's not good for you.
Yes. Wow. Folks, you've been listening to Wellbeing Simplified. We've been talking about the first R, release, and this is great stuff. To reach out to Dr. Tracy and Heather, you can do so at 713-861-6777. That's 713-861-6777. Give them a call or go on that website. That website, once again, is
www.wellbeingsimplified.com.
wow, wellbeingsimplified.com. Go there, find out more, and get your body back on track.